Just what exactly is going on with Star Wars Hunters? A new update to the game has just dropped and it's left me completely bewildered. Why, you may ask? Well, they just dropped an update saying the game is going to be delayed. A third delay? Sure, that happens with most games, but hear me out on this one. Delayed until 2023. Not till next quarter like previous delays, a whole half a year delay. All whilst people in New Zealand and Australia are getting new updates with new characters, maps and more, and completely playable for them too, all whilst people in the US, Canada, UK just don't get to play it at all. In today's video, we're going to dive a bit deeper into this delay, why they've delayed it, and why Australia and New Zealand and other places are able to play this game now. So without any further ado, let's dive right into the video. Just a quick update, guys. If you hear fans going on in the background, I'm really sorry. It's like the hottest day in the UK right now, and I'm literally dying from the heat. So, for those of you who are not completely caught up, Star Wars Hunters was announced on a Nintendo Direct around mid-February in 2021.
Hunters, do you have what it takes?
Oh, look! God, it is a Star Wars game, what the According to the Direct, it was going to be released in the holiday of that year. We got a little bit more information immediately after that trailer, saying that there was going to be a limited release to certain countries in the summer of 2021, and then the full game was pretty much going to drop at winter 2021. A lot of people were dismissive of the game because obviously Zynga was making it, and Zynga doesn't have a very good track record of making actually legitimate games that isn't pay to win. I think it's fair to assume and say that. I think not a lot of people would disagree with me on that one. But anyway, we get a little bit of a delay saying that the limited release was going to happen in holiday 2021 instead, and then the full release was going to be somewhere in the beginning of 2022. The game got delayed again, but this time we didn't get told at all. The game just didn't come out in spring 2022 because we had no information about the game whatsoever. A limited release did come out in the countries at the beginning of that year, and it was very quiet. Not a lot of people were talking about it. We covered it on this channel to some degree. It showed promise, but obviously it just looked a bit like a mobile game. People just weren't really engaging with it. And then just when we think it's going to be coming out this summer, we get the notification that, sorry guys, it's going to be 2023. And that's all they say, by the way. 2023, not first quarter 2023, not summer 2023. It could be delayed all the way until Christmas next year. We just don't know. This has got to be one of the bigger delays that we've seen in a Star Wars game. Nothing compared to Lego Star Wars. I think that was supposed to come out in 2020 and then it got delayed all the way to 2022 this year. But credit where credit's due. We've mentioned this a ton on the channel. COVID and working from home situations is just going to delay these titles by a lot more than usual. So maybe Star Wars Hunters is suffering from that, or maybe not. The reason I'm dubious on that is if you actually go to their social media accounts, they're posting updates to the game almost like it's just free and available for you to play now. This isn't just some technical preview stuff of what they're working behind the scenes. They're actively updating their website, updating the game, and updating their social medias of new maps that you can play, new unannounced characters that are now entering the game with different abilities and ways to play. All of which is just completely going under the radar for most people because they believe this game hasn't been released yet. Now, as for the countries that can actually play this game, I believe it's New Zealand, Australia, India, Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. However, these aren't just random countries this game developer picked just to beta test their game. They're specifically chosen for closed betas, not just with Star Wars Hunters, but other game companies alike, because those countries don't tend to have the best internet services available. And because of that, they become perfect testing grounds to stress test multiplayer games when it comes to packet loss, latency, inconsistent lag, and the like. For anybody that's actually watching this video and they're from Australia or maybe from any of the other countries I mentioned, has there ever been a game that's come out in your region with big multiplayer features and they just don't simply work in your region very well? That's because they haven't stress tested in those locations which really suffer the most. If I recall correctly, Star Wars Squadrons had this issue in their early days as well. Australian players being paired up against European players meant that they were completely desynced from other players, and it became a lot harder to play on those servers for them. Let's move away from the whole negativity on this point and actually look at some of the positives. For one, all of these consistent updates have actually started to grab eyes of Star Wars fans, and the situation looks like it's starting to change, with some fans actually being impressed with some of the updates these developers have been posting on their social medias. For me personally, I love the creative characters that you're able to play in this game. I love that each character has their own logo that has their name on it, and their backstories are genuinely really interesting. One of my favorite characters is this robot droid character that's been programmed to believe he's a Jedi. Whilst the response to this delay has been quite minimal at the moment, the general response has been pretty positive, and that's honestly really great to see in my opinion. I hate to see game developers be pressured to try and get their game out on time rather than actually want to make it a good game in general. I think a lot of people got hurt during the release of Cyberpunk 2069, and because of that, I think a lot of people are apprehensive about games being rushed or developers being put through tons of crunch time. So it's a really positive change to see these gamers actually being totally understanding about this third delay. So if you do come off as disappointed about this news and maybe a little bit angry, don't be. We've been lucky enough in this situation to see how Star Wars Hunters is developing over time thanks to their social media posts. And within a year, they've done so much to improve the gameplay and make it feel like a proper game and not some mobile cash grab. Not to mention, we still have not seen any Nintendo Switch gameplay of this game. All we've got is this elusive single screenshot that might not even be from the Nintendo Switch. We only speculate that it is because the graphics are a lot better than what you see on the mobile versions. And there has been rumors that Star Wars Hunters might not just be a mobile release. We've seen a little bit of evidence here and there that it could be a PS5 or Xbox Series X release. And if that's the case, then things definitely get serious for this game, especially as there hasn't been any live service Star Wars game that hasn't been on mobile since Battlefront 2 shut down. As I've been talking, I've actually been showing you gameplay directly from Zynga and not from some video that's been uploaded to YouTube. All of these videos shown is characters having ultimate abilities, because obviously this is a MOBA game. So for example, you can see here the character Slingshot has the ultimate ability of Rocket Stomp. It's an AoE attack where Slingshot slams into the ground, dealing damage and slowing enemies around him. Meanwhile, new characters like Sprocket, as you can see here in this promo art, and he has the ultimate ability called Drone Swarm, where he releases his droids and they attach to the enemy, revealing and marking them, all whilst those enemies reduce damage to his allies. Another new character called Scorer has the ability called Unstable Cocktail, where Scorer casts out a concoction that both heals allies and damages opponents within that range. These all look really nice, you know, they're standard MOBA abilities that you'd expect in any MOBA game, but one thing that really catches my eye here is how much the animations have improved. One thing I was really critical about Star Wars Hunters when we finally got to see real gameplay was that the animations looked pretty janky, especially on the Night Sister. Now, it could have been the position of the camera and how it moved, or it could have been the FPS rate we were watching the gameplay at, but to me the animations looked really janky and just screamed mobile game, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, these new animations I'm seeing from existing and new characters alike look pretty decent in my opinion. And maybe this is just totally a placebo effect for me, but I feel like the graphics have actually gotten better too. But personally, I'm going to leave that up to you guys whether you think that's the case or not. Before any of you guys forget, remember there is also a Star Wars Hunters novel coming out this fall. It's called Star Wars Hunters Battle for the Arena, and I've got to say, the cover art looks really, really good. But now there's an issue. With the delay, it means the novel's going to be coming out first before the game does. Now, I'm only making assumptions here, but I'm assuming the novel was written purely to bring more interest to the game. So does that mean the novel will also be delayed, or will we see it this autumn? I mean, even in this promo work, it says based on the game. The novel is supposed to help expand the characters' backstories, kind of like how Overwatch has done it with their characters and their MOBA. And it's not like Star Wars has just done this and put it to one side and forgotten about it. They've put in a fair bit of effort with actually advertising the novel too, with articles being on their website and interviews with the writer. So it feels really counterproductive to release that novel while the game's being delayed. We don't have any news on the novel right now. I personally think it will be delayed as well. It's not cheap to get a writer in to literally make a novel about your game and then it release before the game does. I don't know, that's something for you guys to talk about in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. And also, if you absolutely really need to play this game, there are some methods to download the game even if you're not in that region. I'm honestly not going to explain how to do that. It requires a lot of knowledge on the Android and iOS side. But if you're the type of person that wants to play it on console and not mobile, there are ways to play this on the PC. I'll leave an article in the description down below if you're really interested in getting that going. I've tried it myself and I've got to be honest guys, it's not that easy, so just a forewarning there. And that's probably where I'm going to wrap up today's video too. What do you guys think about this delay on Star Wars Hunters? Are you totally comfortable with it? Are you really disappointed about it? Or perhaps you just don't care because it's being made by Zynga? If that's the case, why so? And I know they don't have a great track record for previous cash grab games, but give me a reason why you're still not interested despite this game looking this good now. Of course, leave those thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I read all of them, and of course, I'll try to get back to some of you as well. But besides that guys, I have been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care guys.